Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Nothing to See Here podcast. Hi, it's Frankie.
It's Hannah.
So I have been playing the Batman Arkham games again. And I have to say, Frankie, you've played them. Hannah, you haven't.
No.
I have to say, did you know that the first one came out in 2009?
I mean, I knew it was old. I don't remember the year, but that sounds right, yeah.
Yeah, oh my god, I feel ancient now.
Hey, Stardew Valley is 9 years old, so.
Yeah, I know.
Children born in 2000 are 25 years old this year.
Yeah, I know.
That's so sad.
It's not. It means we have less.
We graduated high school 10 years ago.
I do know that.
I don't like that.
No,
Don't
that gives me a mind fuck.
I was expecting a high school reunion thing, but I guess nobody in my class cares.
I mean, 10 years is nothing. Most people still talk to some people from high school.
I talked to one person.
That is some people.
I talked to two of them.
So you guys are just proving my point. You still are in contact with someone from high school. Therefore, you don't need a 10-year high school reunion.
I'm barely in contact with my person from high school. My person from high school works in the military and just occasionally doesn't answer me. The last text message I got from him was in 2024 of October. And I've texted him since and he's dead. So.
Does it count if one of the people from high school is also a person from college?
No, I don't think that's fair. So Sasha doesn't count.
Yeah, because Sasha's one of the two.
I don't think that's fair.
Right, so then I talked to one person from high school. But you know what oh, sorry, you have more? Please.
I do have more. I've also been rewatching Charmed with my mom. It's fucking awful.
I like Charmed.
It's great and all, but man, oh man. What was happening? What was happening in the 90s?
Lots of things.
I saw the episode with the ghost boy named Mark, and that one made me sad. I was very sad about him. 2, I fucking hate Prue. I mean, I know she dies, so.
I feel like you should have given a spoiler alert there.
The show has been out since 1998. No.
And I haven't finished it yet.
Oh well, Prue's dead.
I knew she died too, to be
fair. Most people who watch it know that she dies because Shannon Doherty, rest in peace, was kind of a not great person on set. Allegedly. So I've been doing that this weekend.
Well, you see, here's the thing, Amanda. You keep having more and more. I got such great fucking segues. You're ruining all of them.
Well, I'll go back to this if you don't have a segue for this, because I doubt you will. But I did build my pantry for my body butters.
I have no words.
It's not just for my body butters.
Also,
I don't think there's a big enough pantry for all your body butters.
I don't like that we're using the term pantry.
Yeah, pantries belong in kitchens.
Yeah.
No, it's a pantry.
Can you just say closet?
No. It's a pantry.
Medicine cabinet.
It's a pantry.
Is it in the bathroom? Is it in the bathroom?
No, it's in my bedroom.
It's not a pantry. You can't have a pantry in your bedroom.
It says, honestly, I'm just gonna share this item with you both.
Did you order one that you build from, Amazon or whatever?
Yeah.
They call it a pantry because they intend for it to be in the kitchen. But you've placed, it's literally called kitchen pantry storage.
Mm-hmm.
So it's meant to be in the kitchen.
Nah, not anymore.
You've just moved it to a different location. So it's no longer a kitchen pantry. It's a cupboard. There we go. It's a cupboard.
A cupboard is a good word. Not pantry.
That's also in the description.
Mm-hmm.
Every picture of this pantry, except for the when they put it as a cupboard, has a microwave in it. There's one picture that doesn't have some sort of cooking unit in it, and that's when it's
Empty?
in the laundry room
Oh.
as a cupboard. This is a big fucking cupboard for your body
Yeah.
butters.
It's huge.
It's
You
almost
have a
bigger
problem.
than me. It
don't
is
have a
bigger
problem.
than me. It's bigger than you.
It is bigger than me, yes.
This is indicative of a problem.
I just needed more storage space.
I don't like that one of these pictures that you sent us, for one of the pictures that they have.
Mm-hmm.
Clearly, it is a kitchen thing because there's like kitchen food items in it, a microwave, and a toaster. But it's also clearly in the living room. There's a couch right next to it.
You know, when you have that studio apartment in New York City, your kitchen is also the living room and the bedroom.
But if you have a studio apartment in New York City, there's no way that thing's fitting in there.
That is
Yeah.
also
You
true.
don't
I
have the
literally
space for
just
that.
saw someone give an apartment tour where the kitchen had the shower in the kitchen. The shower was in the kitchen.
That's awful.
Mm-hmm.
And disgusting.
It was a nice shower, though, but it was still in the kitchen.
That's a little bit disgusting, though.
Mm-hmm.
I have no segue now.
Do you want me to go back? What was your segue?
We can't go
Sean?
back. We can never go back. We can never
Should
go
we
back.
talk about
time
the Oscars?
marches. No, we shouldn't. Not until they've happened.
Okay, next week.
That's a next week discussion. Time marches forward, Amanda. We can't go back.
But we
There's no
are
reason.
tonight.
We are going. Oh, we've done it. You've done it again, Amanda. You've done it again. Thank you, Hannah, for that. We are going back tonight.
Oh no.
We're going back to ancient China. We're going back to Imperial China. We're talking, last time we did history, we talked about the first and only emperor of America. And now
May
we're talking
he rest
about,
in peace.
yes, now we're talking about China's first and only female emperor.
Wu Zetian.
Well, I'm going to call her Wu Zhao. She's got a lot of names.
She does.
She's got, some might say, too many names.
There
I
was
would say
one.
that.
There was one point where, like, I think like her biggest title was like, holy like empress, like golden wheel, something.
She's got a lot of names, a lot of titles. She's done a lot. We're going
She's
to talk
murdered
about
some
her.
children.
We've got a lot of names tonight. I'm going to pronounce some of them correctly. We got a lot of names that are similar sounding, and we're all going to be confused. So don't ask me to clarify about the people involved, because I can't. I'm going to do my best.
Oh no.
So, Emperor. We'll call her Emperor, because she went by the title of Emperor. But Empress or Emperor Wu Zhao ruled as the holy and divine emperor of the second Zhao dynasty for 15 years, from the year 690 to 705. But really, she was in charge for a lot longer than that.
Mm-hmm.
Just unofficially. The 690 to 705 is when she was officially emperor. Wu has a reputation for being one of the most cruel rulers in China's history.
Yeah, it's dope.
A lot of the cruelness associated to her might be exaggerated because of the male Confucian officials who hated women that came after her reign. They especially hated strong, ambitious women and would exaggerate these cruel aspects of her life to make her seem like a villain.
Here's the thing. I feel like 90% of it is true.
You feel like 90% is true.
I do. I feel like, yes, they definitely exaggerated her cruelty, but I feel like she was a terrible person.
Yeah,
I
she
feel
killed
like
one of
she
her
did
kids.
a lot of this shit.
There's no evidence that she killed one of her kids. We'll get to that story later. There's no official evidence that she killed one of her kids.
There definitely is. Either she had a daughter, and that daughter did not live into adulthood, or she had two daughters, and one daughter lived to adulthood, and she killed the other one.
We do know that one of her daughters, her one daughter, died. How she died, we don't know. But the child died as a baby. We'll get to that.
We all know what happened.
We don't all know, because there's been research and development in this. You heard the story years ago. I'm telling you the story as of March 2nd, 2025. Wu Zhao she's part of the second Zhao dynasty, because she said when she came onto the throne, she's like, this is the Zhao dynasty. She's the only empress of the Zhao dynasty, because officially it's part of the Tang dynasty that lasted from 618 to 907, when what history scholar Samuel Adshead said is when China was the world center. And the Tang dynasty reigned for much of that, and them being the world center is usually from the year 400 to 1000. This is during the time Europe was experiencing the Dark Ages, and China was in the middle of was about to hit its golden age from 712 to 755. The Tang was a unified empire founded by the Li family, who seized power during the collapse of the Sui dynasty that reigned from 581 to 618. Li Yuan, later Emperor Gaozu, and his armies seized the capital, Chang'an, in 617. His son, Li Shimin, later Emperor Taizong, and future husband of Wu, joined the rebellion. In 618, Li Yuan declared himself the emperor of the new Tang dynasty. During the Tang dynasty, the Silk Road was at the height of its influence, and they were kind of good to women for the time, the Tang emperors. Socially, the position of Tang women were somewhat superior to their predecessors. Wu Zhao biographer Harry Rothschild has noted that she emerged at the right time, in an incredibly liberal time during China's quote-unquote medieval period.
Are we going to talk about the fact that she's supposedly the daughter of a dragon?
Not a dragon. She claimed that she was the daughter of a very important religious figure, though. Mm-hmm. But she's not. She's the daughter of a lumberer. We'll talk about him in a minute.
Yeah, but didn't the figure come down in the form of a dragon?
I didn't do research on him. I'm doing research on her. Alright? I don't care about dragons. Dragons aren't real. Unless you're talking about Komodo dragons. So Tang women were assertive, active, and more visible in society than previous imperial dynasties in China, and some of the later imperial dynasties. They were able to ride horses, don male attire, and participate in politics. The Tang princesses often chose their own husbands instead of having arranged marriages, and were quite ambitious in their quest for political power. This open society provided someone like Wu Zhao an opportunity to flex her political muscles and end up ruling China for a very long time. So, the Tang dynasty founder, Li Yuan, attracted his followers by claiming to be a descendant of Laozi, the alleged founder of Taoism, and was well acquainted with Wu Shiwao, the father of Wu Zhao. The Wu family clan originated in Wenxi County, Bingzhou, an ancient name for the city of Taiyuan, Shanxi. We don't know where she was born. It was never documented, and it's in dispute where she was actually born. Some say she was born in what is modern-day Sichuan. Others insist she was born in the imperial capital. Doesn't really matter, though. Where she was born isn't that important to her story.
But do we have a date of when she was born?
We do. We will get to that, of when she was born. Her father, Wu Shiwo, though originally was a lumber merchant, was also a military strategist and follower of Tang founder Li in his rebellion against the Sui regime. When the Tang Empire was founded, Li Yuan appointed Wu Shiwo president of the Board of Works, a high-ranking post he held for several years. He was later promoted to governor general of two important prefectures, and his second wife was selected by the emperor from the Sui royal family, and Wu Zhao was born from this union in 624. The Wu family relationship's somewhat complicated. Her father's first wife, Lady Zhongli, gave birth to 2 sons. His second wife, Lady Yang, had 3 daughters, the second one being Wu Zhao. Wu Zhao did not like her 2 half-brothers because they were mean to her mother. And so when she rose to power, she eventually sent them to very, very distant provincial posts, and they ended up dying in exile.
That's dope. If somebody was mean to my mom and I could fucking kill him a little bit, but not in like that, like directly kill them, yeah.
You would.
You know
Hey.
she was laughing and kicking her feet when she got the letter saying they were dead.
Well, she may have had a hand in their death. I don't remember if that's in my research details about their death, but she did she very much, like Amanda said, didn't kill people. A lot of the people she killed, she didn't have a.
Oh, it was all mostly
I killed
indirectly.
You. It was mostly, hey, you better fucking kill yourself.
Yeah.
In game, or something bad will happen.
In game.
Yeah, we don't want anyone thinking we're promoting suicide. We're not. It's in game. It's all in game. In Wu's time, before we get into her the details of her life, how she came into power, and her reign, let's talk about her many names. Women's birth names were rarely recorded during Wu Zhao's time. She changed her name to Wu Zhao after rising to power. So this is the name she had when she became emperor, as the name of the dynasty she hoped to establish. Wu was her patronymic surname, which she retained, according to traditional Chinese practice, after marriage to Gaozong of the Li family. Emperor Taizong gave her the art name Wu Mei, meaning glamorous. So a lot of people will refer to her as Wu Mei when they write about her youth. They'll refer to her as Wu Haowen, Wu Hao when referring to her as Empress Consort and Empress Dowager, and Wu Zhaixin when referring to her as Empress Regent. We're going to call her Wu Zhao the entire time. It's just easier. Now, her actual title, and why that's confusing, is because of translation. Well, confusing for the West is because of translation from Chinese into English. Various Chinese titles have been translated into English as Empress, including Empress in the sense of Empress Consort and Empress Regent, which she was both. Generally, the monarch was male, and his chief spouse was given a title such as Wang Hao, often translated as Empress, but specifically this was Empress Consort. Upon the emperor's death, the surviving Empress Consort would become Empress Dowager, sometimes wielding considerable political power as regent during the minority of the male heir to the position of emperor. Since the time of Qin Shi Huang, the emperor of China uses the title Huangdi. Wu Zhao is the only woman in the history of China to assume the title Huangdi, which is why she is officially China's only emperor.
Good for her.
Her tenure as de facto ruler of China, before she took the title of Huangdi, began first through her husband, then through her sons from 665 until 690. But then, and this was not without precedent, Empress Dowagers and Empress Regents would often take power over the weak-willed emperor or their children in Chinese history, and in many other historic kingdoms and emperors, if the husband was weak and a pathetic ruler. What she did that was different is she founded her own dynasty in 690, the Zhao dynasty, ruling personally under the name Sacred and Divine Huangdi Wu Zhao. Wu Zhao, born, like I said, in 624, was encouraged by her parents to read books and pursue her education, an uncommon situation for the women at the time. She read, learned about many topics such as music, calligraphy, literature, history, politics, and governmental affairs. Emperor Taizong, the second Tang emperor, and his son, Li Ji, were both attracted to Wu Zhao's beauty, intelligence, and spirit. When she was 14, Taizong awarded her the title Kairen, the 5th rank concubine.
That's...
It's not great.
I don't like that.
It's not great. It's not great.
I also don't like that it's a 5th rank concubine.
5th out of 9. There's 9 ranks.
That's still not good.
I know.
I know
Taizong,
it was the time. I know it was what they did.
but it's icky.
I don't like, we said she was what, 14?
Yes.
Or 15? 14.
14. Taizong had a
So was Snow White.
Taizong had a deep admiration for Wu Zhao's spirit and intelligence. There's a story that she told to a chancellor who was challenging her power. That the emperor owned a very wild horse that no one could master and asked his palace women for advice. Wu replied, I can control him, but I shall need 3 things. First, an iron whip. Second, an iron mace. And third, a dagger. If the iron whip does not bring him to obedience, I will use the iron mace to beat his head. And if that does not do it, I will use the dagger and cut his throat.
Kill this woman.
Taizong was pleased with this answer and employed Wu Zhao as his personal secretary for 10 years. When she was summoned to the palace, her mother, the Lady Yang, wept bitterly when saying farewell to her, but she responded, how do you know that it is not my fortune to meet the Son of Heaven, which is what they would call the Emperor? Lady Yang then reportedly understood her daughter's ambitions and therefore stopped crying. So as the Emperor's personal secretary, she gained experience working with official documents, learned the necessary skills for conducting state affairs. There is documentation that she did have an intimate relationship with the Emperor, but never had any children with Taizong. Because she didn't have any children with Taizong, upon his death in 649, in accordance with royal tradition, she was forced to retire to a temple, shave her head, and become a nun to pray for his soul and live the rest of her life in confinement. His son, Gaozong, became emperor at the age of 21. Not the first choice. He was inexperienced, he got sick quite a lot and dizzy, and he was only made heir to the empire because his 2 older brothers had been disgraced.
What did they do?
I don't know. I could not find what they did.
That is so sad.
I really wanted to know what they did. Couldn't find it. On or about a little after the anniversary of Emperor Kaizong's death, Gaozong goes to the Ganye Temple to offer incense to Buddha. And this is where Wu Zhao has been confined. When he and Wu Zhao saw each other, they both wept for the memory of Taizong. This was seen by Gaozong's wife, Empress Wang. At the time, Gaozong was not a fan of the Empress, his wife. Instead, he favored his concubine, Zhao. Furthermore, Wang had no children, while Zhao had 1 son and 2 daughters. Wang, seeing that Gaozong was still impressed by Wu Zhao's beauty, hoped that the arrival of a new concubine would divert the emperor from Zhao, who she feared was gaining too much power. So she secretly told Wu Zhao to stop shaving her hair, and then welcomed her to the palace as a concubine for Gaozong.
I just want to, something that I will never be able to get over is I don't think I could be in a relationship, any relationship with somebody who was fucking one of my parents.
Well, there are some modern historians that say that this account isn't correct, and that they had been having Wu Zhao had never actually left the imperial palace because she was having an affair with Gaozong the entire time while she was a concubine to his father.
Still gross.
It makes it worse if you believe what some modern historians believe. But if we go, we're gonna go with the traditional story because it makes it more fun. Because
Does it?
Yes, because Empress Wang's plan worked, guys. Wu became Gaozong's favorite. And in 652, she gave birth to her first child, a son named Li Hong. She then gave birth to another son, Li Zhan. She then gave birth to a third son, Li Zhan.
Yeah, I was waiting for that one. I knew about that one.
None of these sons were in contention to be Gaozong's heir because Gaozong, at the request of officials influenced by the Empress and her uncle, had designated his eldest son, Li Zhong, as his heir. Li Zhong's mother was a consort named Liu, who was of lowly birth, and Empress Wang did this in order to receive Liu's gratitude, and, she would be beholden to the Empress. By 654, Wang and Zhao had both lost favor with Gaozong, and the former rivals teamed up against Wu Zhao. Didn't work. In 654, Wu gave birth to her daughter. Her daughter died shortly after birth. There was allegations made by Wu Zhao that the Empress Wang strangled the child. Wang was accused of having been seen near the child's room with corroborating testimony by alleged eyewitnesses. Gaozong was led to believe that Wang, motivated by jealousy, had killed the child. The Empress did not have an alibi and was unable to clear her name. She would have another son as well, Li Dan, in 662 after all this. But I want to mention that because he becomes important later. But anyway, back to the dead daughter.
The child Amanda has been so anxiously waiting for and is now quiet about.
I thought I was unmuted.
You're not. You were not.
And I was talking. I was really pissed off at you for a minute, Frankie.
Wu Zhao, the traditional story is that Wu Zhao killed her own infant daughter to pin it on Empress Wang.
100%.
Gaozong believed this, dismissed his empress, and promoted Wu Zhao to the position. There is no scientifically credible information about the death of Wu Zhao's daughter, and scholars lack concrete evidence about her death.
They literally said no facts, just vibes.
Because the traditional tale or traditional portrayal of Wu Zhao is a power-hungry woman, unconcerned about whom she hurt or what she did. The most popular theory is that Wu Zhao killed her own child in order to accuse Empress Wang and get her out of the way.
100%.
There are other schools of thought that argue that Empress Wang did kill the child out of jealousy and hatred of Wu Zhao.
No.
The third argument, there's a third camp, is that the child died of crib death because ventilation systems of the time were non-existent, or if they were in existence, of poor quality, and the lack of ventilation combined with the use of coal as a heating method led to carbon monoxide poisoning.
I believe that one the most.
No.
No matter how
Zetian killed her daughter.
No matter how the daughter died, Wu Zhao blamed Empress Wang for the girl's death, and she was removed from her position. In the summer of 655, Wu Zhao accused Empress Wang and her mother of using witchcraft. In response, the Emperor Gaozong barred the Empress's mother from the palace and demoted her uncle. Meanwhile, a faction of officials began to form around Wu Zhao. That autumn, Gaozong summoned a group of chancellors. One of them had deduced that the summons was about changing the Empress. One of them claimed illness and refused to attend the meeting. All of the chancellors opposed deposing the Empress. Gaozong did not care. He demoted the chancellor who vocally opposed deposing the Empress, and then deposed both the Empress Wang and Zhao, his concubine, and placed them under arrest and made Wu Zhao Empress.
She was playing the long con.
Of course.
Later,
I truly think the child died from natural causes when she took the opportunity to blame Empress Wang.
No.
Well, later that year, Gaozong did show signs of considering their release, but Wu Zhao could not have that, so they were put to death immediately. Do you want to know how they died?
Drawn
It's gonna
and
be
quartered.
brutal.
Drawn and quartered is close-ish. They had their hands and feet chopped off,
Mm-hmm.
and then their bodies were thrown into a vat of wine where they were left to drown.
What if I just drink all the wine first? Can't drown me then. I'm just really drunk.
All of their supporters and relatives were then exiled. It said that Empress Wu Zhao was haunted by these deaths in her dreams. She believed that their spirits were after her. So they remodeled a secondary palace that became named Henyuan Palace. And they often took up residence there in order to avoid being haunted by their spirits. But Empress Wu Zhao's now the Empress, guys.
Woo!
She is in charge. She's the Empress Consort. In 656, Gaozong removes Li Zhong, who he named his heir. He's no longer heir. Out of here.
Is he now the hair?
No, he's not the heir. He now names Wu Zhao's firstborn, Li Hong, as the crown prince. In 657, Wu Zhao begins to fight back against the officials who opposed her ascension to empress. She has two chancellors falsely accuse two other chancellors of being complicit in planning treason. So they were all three of the chancellors accused of planning treason were demoted to being prefects of remote prefectures with provisions that they would never be allowed to return to the capital city. In 659, she had a chancellor accuse Zhongxun Wuji of plotting treason with low-level officials. Zhongxun was exiled and then later in the year was forced to commit suicide. She implicated a man named Chu Suiliang in that plot as well. He was dead at that point, so he was posthumously stripped of his titles, and his two sons were executed.
Alright, that's a little much.
I was really hoping you were going to say his corpse was dug up and put on trial.
Nope,
Like,
that
No,
was
hey, that would have been better, honestly, than just killing the man's sons. She did try to execute another man, Han Yuan, but he was dead. He had died before the execution order reached his location.
So his corpse was put on trial.
No.
Dang it.
So after all of these people were executed and forced into exile, it said that no officials dared to criticize the emperor. So who is she going to go after next? Well, she's going to target his son, his firstborn son, Li Zhong.
Mm-hmm.
Li Zhong feared that he would be next and had sought out advice of fortune tellers, and so Wu Zhao had him exiled and placed under house arrest. She didn't kill him. She did not kill him.
What if he just said, hey, I'll fake my own death and, like, I'll go far, far away?
He should have. Life would have been better for him.
Yeah. Like, I see the writing on the wall. You can say I'm dead. You give me a bunch of gold. I go far, far away and live out my days comfortably somewhere. I think that sounds nice.
So the next year, Gaozong suffers a severe stroke that blinds him.
How old is he at this point?
I don't know his age.
Okay.
It's so hard to determine ages.
That is very fair. We are in very, very...
These are triple-digit years.
Yeah. These are like ye olden times, ye olden times.
But because he's blind, Wu Zhao is essentially running the country. She took so much control, Gaozong actually got angry and upset. And she had been using Taoist sorcerers for witchcraft. And Gaozong got word of this, and one of his chancellors suggested that he depose Wu Zhao. And an edict was drafted to depose her. But as it was being drafted, Wu Zhao heard about what was happening, went to the emperor to plead her case, and Gaozong could not bear to depose her and blamed everything on the chancellor.
Oof. My guy.
Then Wu Zhao had one of her loyal chancellors falsely accuse Shangguan, the one who was blamed by the emperor, Empress Wang, and Li Zhong of planning treason.
Empress Wang is still alive.
No, she's not dead, but they had worked on Empress Wang's staff.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Oh, sorry, no, I'm sorry. This is a different Wang. I'm sorry. Incorrect.
Okay.
This is a.
Because I was
This
like,
is a. This
we
is
got
a
rid of her,
eunuch.
right? I thought we got rid of her.
This is a eunuch named Wang Fusheng
Okay.
who worked with Shangguan Yi on Li Zhong's staff. So she accuses all three of them of planning treason. So Shangguan, the eunuch Wang, and Shangguan's son were executed. Don't know why Shangguan's son was killed, but he
Gotta
was.
end the bloodline.
Mm-hmm.
And Li Zhong, remember, the emperor's firstborn son, was forced to commit suicide. Shangguan's granddaughter, a baby, and her mother then became slaves in the palace. She fucking ruined this family. Although I will say, the granddaughter ended up becoming Empress Wu Zhao's most trusted secretary.
I don't know how to feel.
Empress Wu then had her mother promoted to become the Lady of Rong. Her older sister was promoted to become the Lady of Han. Her half-brothers, the one she didn't like because of the poor relationship she had with Lady Yang, were also promoted. But this is the downfall of them. They offended Lady Yang by stating they did not find it honorable for them to be promoted on account of Empress Wu Zhao. So her half-brothers were then demoted to avenge the offense of her mother. And they died in effective exile. Like I said earlier.
And like I said earlier, she's giggling and kicking her feet when she gets that letter saying they're dead.
Yes. So, in 666, her older sister dies. And so Emperor Gaozong makes her Empress Wu Zhao's niece the Lady of Wei and considers making her a concubine. Empress Wu Zhao hears about this and then has her niece poisoned by placing poison in food offerings that were made by her cousins. She then blames her cousins for the death of her niece and has them executed. She's just killing her family. In 670, Wu's mother, Lady Yang, dies, and all of the imperial officials and their wives attend her wake and mourn her on order of the emperor and empress. Meanwhile, the son of her older sister has been given the surname Wu and allowed to inherit the title Duke of Zhao. But it was becoming clear to Empress Wu Zhao that her nephew suspected her of murdering his mother. Or murdering his sister, sorry. Remember, she did murder his sister. So, Wu Zhao begins to take precautions against him. He is accused of disobeying mourning regulations during the period of mourning for Lady Yang, his grandmother, and raping the daughter of an official who had previously been selected to be the wife and crown princess for Li Hong, the crown prince. Her nephew is then exiled on her orders and is either executed or committed suicide. I'm going to go with executed.
I mean, is there really a difference?
No, there's not really a difference at this point. So, in 675, she goes on another fucking rampage.
Did she ever stop?
No. Empress Wu Zhao becomes displeased at the favor that Emperor Gaozong is showing his aunt, Princess Changle.
How dare he?
Princess Changle was married to General Zhao Gui, and they had a daughter who would become the wife and princess consort of Wu Zhao's third son, Li Zhan II, the Prince of Zhao. Princess Zhao was accused of unspecified crimes and then placed under arrest, eventually starving to death. And Zhao Gui and Princess Changle were then exiled. Li Hong, the crown prince, urged his mother not to exercise so much influence and authority. And then also requested that his half-sisters, the daughters of consort Zhao, remember the lady who was butchered and left in a vat of wine to drown, be allowed to marry. He died suddenly, and a lot of historians believe that she poisoned him. And so now, Li Zhan the first Li Zhan, is now crown prince. But guess what? Empress Wu Zhao's relationship with her son, Li Zhan the first, deteriorates. Because there are rumors spreading that he is not her son, but actually her nephew. When she hears about this, she gets angry.
I would be like, do you want proof? You want to see my stretch marks? Oh, I'd be pissed.
Yeah, I would be. Like, if you gave birth to someone and they go, you didn't give birth to me.
Oh, I'd kill someone.
She's so mad about all of this stuff that's surrounding him that a poet in 678, Luo Binwang, criticizes Empress Wu, and he is put in jail. A sorcerer named Ming Chongyan stated that Li Zhan was unsuitable to inherit the throne, so he is assassinated. Wu Zhao suspects that her son is behind the assassination. And so he is accused of crimes, just various crimes, including the assassination of Ming Chongyan. And during this investigation, they find a bunch of weapons in his palace. So Empress Wu Zhao accuses her son of treason and the assassination of the sorcerer. Emperor Gaozong wants to forgive him for the treason, you know? But Empress Wu Zhao refuses, and so he is deposed, exiled, and placed under house arrest. But to be fair, that's better than his older brother. His older brother was poisoned to death, so.
Oh, okay.
At least he's just under house arrest.
Yeah.
So now we have another crown prince, Li Zhan the Second. But he gets a new name now. They rename him to Li Jie. So we're good. No more confusion. Li Jie. But don't worry, that name's not going to last long. Because Gaozong, the emperor, he's dead. He dies in 683. And so, Li Jie ascends the throne, and he becomes the emperor Zhongzong. So we have a new emperor. And the emperor is married. This emperor is also just as weak and incompetent as his father. So his wife is like, fantastic. I'm gonna take the same amount of power that my mother-in-law has, or had, under Gaozong. Problem is, Wu Zhao doesn't appreciate this, because she still wants the power.
Did no one think, did this new empress think, like, look at her mother-in-law and go, you still want the position? Cool. I'm gonna stay over here.
Nope, she did not.
Like, that would be my first thought. I'd be like, I want to keep my head. I don't want to be poisoned. Empress Wu, keep doing what you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
Have fun. I'm just gonna be here in the corner.
So what happens is, the new empress has her father installed as prime minister, and they attempt to make him what the position of Shizhong, the head of the examination bureau of the government, who basically China has the examination to become a official in the government and a chancellor. Usually this was a post for a chancellor. Someone who's already a chancellor gets to become the head of this bureau. The father, the empress's dad, is not a chancellor, but they're like, we're going to install him. Wu Zhao, now Empress Dowager, hears about this, and her, along with 2 other chancellors and 2 generals, depose Emperor Zhongzong, replace him with her youngest son, Li Dan. The father-in-law of Zhongzong is brought up on charges of treason and sent into seclusion. Zhongzong is reduced to the title of Prince of Luling and sent into exile. And now Li Dan has assumed the title Emperor Ruzong. And he, following in the tradition of his family, fucking weak. Weak man.
He's not weak. He just wants to survive.
But this time, Empress Wu Zhao, she's not even hiding it. There used to be a pretense of like, oh, whoever's actually ruling hides behind a screen or curtain and whispers commands for the nominal ruler to formally announce. Nope. She's just like, look, buddy. It's my time. Ruzong never moves into the imperial palace. He never appeared at an imperial function. And he's basically a prisoner inside of his quarters.
No, he said, I'm safe here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He has the title of emperor, but Wu Zhao controls the court. Officials were not allowed to meet with him. He was not allowed to rule on any matters of state. The officials all reported to Wu Zhao, and Ruzong didn't even nominally approve official actions. She's just in charge.
Good for her.
Now, there are some rebellions that occur during this time. If we remember, I don't bring up his name, but there is a chancellor named Li Ji, who is the chancellor who claimed illness and refused to attend when Gaozong was considering making Wu Zhao empress. His grandson, he's been killed. His grandson, Li Jingyi, who has been exiled, starts a rebellion that initially gets really popular in the region that he starts it. But it kind of dies down because he moves too slowly in his attack. Meanwhile, one of the chancellors who helped Wu Zhao take control from Ruzong suggests to her, hey, maybe the emperor should be in charge. If you let the emperor be in charge, this rebellion will just die on its own. She doesn't like this. Accuses him of being complicit with the rebellion, has him executed, and then demotes, exiles, and kills a bunch of officials who supported him and tried to speak on his behalf. Eventually, she sends a general out to attack the rebellion. The rebellion is crushed, and Li Jingye flees and is killed, trying to escape. In 685, Wu Zhao begins having an affair with a Buddhist monk named Huayi. And over the next few years, he gets honors, a bunch of honors from her. This is, you know what, I will say, Emperor Ruzong showed his smarts here. In 686, Wu Zhao offers to return all imperial authorities to him, but he knows she doesn't really mean it, so declines.
The smartest man in this whole story.
Truly.
She also starts her secret police to gain more control, as she suspects many officials are opposing her. In 688, she goes to make sacrifices to the deity of the Luo River. She summons senior members of the Tang's Li imperial clan to Luoyang, and they're scared that she's gonna slaughter them to secure the throne for herself.
A very real fear.
So a bunch of the princes there, they're like, look, we're gonna stop this. We're gonna create a bunch of forces and take down the Empress, and they just don't move fast enough. And they all get crushed by her army. And then she takes this opportunity to arrest her former husband, Emperor Gaozong's granduncles, who are part of this family. A bunch of other members of the Li clan, including Princess Changle. Remember Princess Changle? She's arrested too.
I don't remember her.
And she forces all of them to commit suicide.
I do imagine this to be like a Hunger Games scenario where it's like, here are the poison berries. Here's an empty room. And here are the berries. Have fun.
Yeah. In 690, she finally gives up the fucking charade. And she forces Emperor Wuzong to yield the throne to her. And she is now officially Huangdi, the Empress of China. The Emperor of China.
I also imagine he had the paperwork, like, all ready to go. He was just waiting for her to say so.
He's like, listen, Mom, whenever you're ready.
I've been ready since you put me on the throne.
Now, the early part of her reign is characterized by secret police terror. Everyone's scared. All the officials are scared. They're gonna get killed. But she is also recognized, and we'll go over this later, she's recognized as a capable and attentive ruler, even by the traditional historians who despised her. She elevated Buddhism above Taoism and officially sanctioned Buddhism by building temples in each prefecture belonging to the capital regions of the two capitals of China. She did face one big issue, though. Succession. Who is going to take the throne? So, at the time she takes the throne, the former Emperor Wuzong is renamed Wudong to carry on the Wu prefecture, and he is named Crown Prince. So he will become emperor again when she dies. That's what she's going with. There is a petition drive going around at this time, though, to make her nephew Wu Chengxi Crown Prince, arguing that an emperor named Wu should pass the throne to an official member of the Wu clan, not someone you just named Wu. And she was tempted to do so. And when 3 of her chancellors opposed this, they were executed. She did decline the request. Like I said, she does eventually name Wudong now, Crown Prince. But, hey, 3 people, she got to kill 3 people over it, so a good day.
Mm-hmm. Great day.
Yeah. And the man who made the petition, Wang Xingji, was allowed to freely enter the palace to see her. And he did. A little too much. She got upset about this. He came over too much. So she asked one of her officials to batter him as punishment, and he did batter him to death.
Oh!
So he's dead now. So he's died. He's dead. But Wu Shengxi, her nephew, is beginning to get a little too powerful, because like people were petitioning for him to become crown prince and become emperor when she's dead. So
he's gotta die.
Well, she doesn't kill him. She just strips him of his title and gives him a bunch of, honorific titles that don't have any authority.
Ah.
So, in 693, Wu's lady-in-waiting, Wei Tuaner, hates her son, Li Dan, because he rejected her advances. Falsely accuses his wife, the Crown Princess Liu, and consort Dao of using witchcraft. Wu Zhao believes this and has them killed.
Oh. Okay.
Li Dan, fearful of his mother, doesn't say anything. Again, smart.
Very smart. This man isn't weak, he's just smart.
Yeah. When, Wei, the lady in waiting, then plans to falsely accuse him, someone informs the Empress of this, and she is executed. But all of this causes Wu Zhao more concern that her son is getting more and more powerful. So when two officials are accused of secretly meeting with him, those two officials executed, and no other officials are allowed to meet with her son anymore.
Interesting.
He's there like, thank fuck.
There are then accusations that her son is plotting treason. So, an investigation is launched. Her son's servants are arrested and tortured. They're tortured so badly that they are ready to implicate themselves and Li Dan. But one of his servants, An Jin Kong, proclaims that Li Dan is innocent, and he cuts his own belly open to swear to that fact.
Dope.
When Wu Zhao hears what he did, she has doctors rush to him, saving his life in the nick of time, and orders the investigation to be shut down.
He survived.
He did survive. And
He-
so does Li Dan.
he-
Li Dan has survived because of this.
That's a true ride or die, first of all.
Very, very much ride or die. That man deserves a medal.
Guys, I want you to know I'm never cutting my stomach open for you two.
I'm not cutting my stomach open for either of you either.
Okay, cool.
It depends on how deep. I would do it a little bit. Like, you know how much like they do, like the 3 inches they do for like liposuction. I would do that for you guys.
Oh, okay, maybe. So in 694, Wu Zhao becomes highly impressed with a group of mystics. The hermit, Wei Shifeng, who claims he is more than 350 years old.
Wait, are these the 2 dum-dums?
There's a bunch of them. It's a group
No.
of them. It's 3 dum-dums.
No. She ends up fucking 2 brothers.
Oh no, they're at the end. They're at the end. They're the ones that cause her downfall.
Yeah, the dum-dums.
They're
The
at the end.
himbos.
This is Wei Shifeng, who claims he's more than 350 years old. An old Buddhist nun who claimed to be a Buddha and could predict the future. And a non-Han man who claimed that he was 500 years old.
That's all he got. He's like, I'm over 500 years old.
They're around. I had to mention them because this is gonna cause something. So in 695, after the Imperial Meeting Hall and the Heavenly Hall were burned, remember her Buddhist lover, Huai? He burns down the Imperial Meeting Hall and the Heavenly Hall because he's jealous that Wu Zhao has taken another lover, the Imperial Physician. So he burns the buildings down. Wu Zhao, she does kill him too. You can't just burn her buildings down.
I mean, you can.
Why is this the most overdramatic reaction yet in a story all about killing?
But not only does she become mad at him, she's mad at those group of mystics that I just mentioned because they didn't predict the fire. So the old nun and her students are all arrested and made into slaves. The old non-Han man fucking runs away. He gets out of town. And the hermit, Wei Shifeng, who claimed to be more than 350 years old, he commits suicide. So she became enraptured with them in 694, and then a year later, they're either out of the country, dead, or slaves. So, didn't last long. In 697, the leader of Empress Wu Zhao's secret police plans to falsely accuse her son, Li Dan, the Wu clan princes, and Princess Taiping of treason. But all of them hear about this, accused him of crimes, and he's executed. This is when the secret police their reign kind of ends. It's also going to be the start of the downfall for her, because she starts having a relationship with two new lovers.
The Dum-Dums!
The Dum-Dums, Zhang Yizhi and Zhang Changzong.
As a himbo lover, I am very saddened that they are her downfall.
So before we get to the end of her reign and her death, let's talk about what she did as an empress. There are 5 or 6 achievements that people look at during her reign. The first achievement is her policy of recruiting officials. She put a greater emphasis on education and intellectual capabilities to have officials in her government. She wanted the most talented and the most educated people. She initiated the personal examination of candidates by the ruler because she believed it would best serve her objective of an effective ruling class. While the civil service examination wasn't new, her reforms would serve as the foundation for later dynasties developing even stronger systems. She also maintained China's imperial sovereignty, expanding territories through conquering several regions and exercising a dominant cultural influence over Japan and Korea. There were armed threats and clashes with Tibet, but she managed them and never lost any territory as Empress of China. She also had a good policy of economic development. Agriculture caught her attention, so she ordered the compilation of farming textbooks, construction of irrigation systems, reduction of taxes, and other reform measures. In 695, she offered the entire empire a tax-free year, but still collected taxes from the people who traded on the Silk Roads. Apparently, her economic policies improved the lives of the peasants, and in the eyes of the common people, she was seen as an incredibly popular ruler. Evidence from a stele in the Sichuan province show that in times of flood or drought, people prayed at a temple in the name of the celestial empress, and she's still honored today with an annual agricultural festival there. The fourth achievement that she had was Buddhism. She was introduced to Buddhism by her parents as a child, briefly a Buddhist nun. After she gained power, she helped spread and consolidate Buddhism and supported the religion by erecting temples. She was a big fan of Huayan Buddhism, which regarded Vairocana Buddha as the center of the world. This sect of Buddhism also encouraged its followers to regard their earthly ruler as the representation of Buddha on earth, which she was probably a big fan of. She was a popular ruler for Chinese Buddhists because of the way she patronized Buddhism. She was a big fan of promoting literature and art. Little is written in English concerning her artistic life because there's more of a weight put on her ambitious political life. But she was a poet and artist. She formed a group during her reign called the Scholars of the Northern Gate to promote literary pursuits. She was fond of poetry and literature, created a culture of literary pursuits that flourished in Tang China, and some of the most prominent Tang poets appeared after her death because of these programs that she started. And finally, big supporter of women's rights. She began a bunch of campaigns to uplift the position of women in Imperial China. She advised her scholars to write and edit biographies of exemplary women to assist in attaining her political objectives. She asserted that the ideal ruler was one who ruled as a mother does over her children. She extended the mourning period for a deceased mother to equal that of a deceased father, and raised the position of her mother's clan by offering her relatives high official posts. She thought that princesses were just as conducive to reconciling diplomatic conflicts as princes.
Damn right.
And she was seen as scandalous, immoral, and outrageous by many Confucian scholars at the time because of her behavior and views on women in power. So, let's go to the end of her reign. As she grows older, the Zhang brothers become increasingly powerful, and the princes of the Wu clan, her clan, begin to seek their favor. She relied on them to handle affairs of state. This was secretly discussed by her grandson, Lee Chong-run, and her granddaughter, and her granddaughter's husband. Somehow, this discussion was leaked. One of the Zhang brothers found out about it, reported it to Wu Zhao, and all her grandson, her granddaughter, and her granddaughter's husband were ordered to commit suicide. By 703, the Zhang brothers are upset with one of the senior chancellors, for dressing down one of their other brothers, and rejecting the promotion of another. They were fearful that when Wu Zhao died, this chancellor would find a way to execute them, and so therefore they accused him of speculating on Wu Zhao's death. And they got one of his subordinates to testify that this was true. But once the subordinate was in front of Wu Zhao, he accused the Zhang brothers of forcing him to bear false witness. The chancellor and his subordinate, not killed, just exiled. In the autumn of 704, accusations of corruption began to be leveled against the Zhang brothers, but Wu Zhao did not remove them. By the winter of 704, Wu Zhao became seriously ill, and only the Zhang brothers were allowed to see her. This led to speculation amongst the people that the Zhang brothers were plotting to take over the throne, and there were repeated accusations of treason. Once her condition improved, it was advocated that only her sons be allowed to attend to her, a suggestion she did not accept. And further accusations against the Zhang brothers followed. Wu Zhao allowed an investigation to occur, but before the investigation was completed, she issued a pardon for one of the brothers, basically derailing the entire thing. By spring of 705, Wu Zhao was seriously ill again, so a coup was planned to kill the Zhang brothers. And they were killed on February 20th. The hall where Wu Zhao was residing was surrounded. They reported to her that the Zhang brothers had been executed for treason, and she was forced to yield the throne to Li Zhan, her son. On February 21st, an edict was issued in her name that made him regent, and on February 22nd, an edict was issued in her name passing him the throne. On February 23rd, Li Zhan formally retook the throne, and the next day, Wu Zhao was moved to the subsidiary palace, Shangyang Palace, and while still honored with the title of Empress Regent. On March 3rd, the restoration of the Tang dynasty was celebrated, ending the Zhao dynasty. When I say Li Zhan, by the way, I'm referring to who was Emperor Zhongzong, the third son. He is back on the throne. Wu Zhao died on December 16th and was no longer called Empress Regent, but instead Empress Consort Zetian Dosheng. In 706, Wu's son, Emperor Zhongzong, had his father and mother interned in a joint burial at the Xinling Mausoleum near the capital of Chang'an on Mount Liang. Zhongzong also buried his older brother, his son, and his daughter, who were all victims of Wu Zhao's many, many execution sprees. Her gravestone was unmarked by any eulogy, deliberately left blank upon her request. She wanted people of a later period to evaluate her achievements.
And now people know her as pretty bloodthirsty.
Yep.
She did a lot of good.
She did do a lot of good.
She did a lot of bad, too.
She did a lot more bad, yeah.
Based on that, by both your a lot of good, a lot of bad, historical evaluations of her are mixed. The favorable assessments. Didn't they what?
I forget if you mentioned this, but isn't her gravestone like blank?
Yeah, that's what I just said. It's unmarked because she thought the people of the future would evaluate her achievement, so her grave is unmarked.
Sorry, I got
Purposely on her
distracted by the
request.
Sorry, I got distracted by the peanut gallery burgeoning for a second. So,
Like I said, historical evaluations are mixed. The favorable assessments look at her high intelligence and exceptional competence in many areas of government. Her critics focus on her ambition and ruthless actions to gain and keep power.
To those critics, I ask, would you say the exact same thing about a man?
Probably not.
Exactly.
In China, at least, it appears based on recent history textbooks that she's viewed more favorably than in the past. In the 50s, there was no weight on her position in Chinese history, not because she was a woman, but this was the Mao era of China, which emphasized the socialist revolution led by the masses rather than a focus on the feudal rulers of the past. The Mao era ended in 76, so textbook author evaluations of her tended to become milder in the 1980s, when the policy of opening up to the outside world began. And in the 1990s, when Chinese patriarchy displayed a clear increase in tolerance for women, Wu Zhao was praised as China's only ruling empress in their history textbooks. By the 21st century, instead of minimizing her political achievements and focusing only on her personal actions and ruthlessness, there's more of a tendency to emphasize her success and her place in the golden age of Tang China. And like I mentioned earlier, she left some legacies for Chinese history. She improved the civil service system and imperial talent pool. She initiated policies that strengthened the economy. She lowered taxes. She improved the life of the common people of China. She protected the borders while maintaining imperial prestige. And it made it easier for her successors to rule after she passed. And she left a legacy of women's participation in politics in China. She was an example for her daughter, Princess Taiping, and her daughter-in-law, Empress Wei. They tried to become involved in politics as well. Empress Wei was not as successful as Wu Zhao. She murdered her husband by poisoning him and tried to engineer a coup to rule after him, but it failed and she was executed. Her daughter, Princess Taiping, tried to also overthrow Emperor Xuanzong in 713, but this was discovered and she was killed. So, they tried to be like her, but not as successful. She made her way into literary works. The Qing Dynasty novel Flowers in the Mirror by Li Ruzhen takes place during Wu Zhao's rule. In the book, she issues 12 decrees that were intended to bring benefits to women, and although the decrees are fictional, her life inspired Li and later authors who were pioneers of the emancipation of women in Qing China. And so, that is the history of China's only female emperor, Wu Zhao.
What a life.
What a life. She improved lives.
She ended a lot of lives.
Ended many, many lives.
Yeah.
She killed a lot of people.
She did not have an easy role.
Directly or indirectly, she killed a lot.
Yeah.
Some might say too many.
I would say too many.
Yeah,
I would
I'm
also
on that
say
side.
too many. She killed a lot of people that didn't deserve it.
I would also argue that, maybe don't kill your family.
She did kill a lot of family members.
Like a shit ton. More than I think is acceptable to kill your own family.
It's way more than acceptable. Way more than is acceptable.
Yeah.
Can she technically be considered a serial killer?
I mean, no, you're a ruler. You're not a serial killer.
Okay.
When you're a ruler, you can just kill whoever you want. You're not a serial killer.
Yeah. Well, Vlad the Impaler, was
not
also
a serial
ruler,
killer.
and he's not listed under serial killers in Wikipedia.
Okay. So that answers my question then.
Yeah, so,
Elizabeth Bathory?
She was.
Also a lady. Or something.
Thanks. All right.
Yes, Elizabeth Bathory was a lady. And she killed people.
But is she listed as a serial killer? No.
I don't
She
think she
should
is.
be.
Well, just because she should be doesn't mean she is.
I think she was a countess, not a lady.
Well, she was both.
You know what I mean.
Well, you're a lady before you're a countess. Traditionally.
I really enjoyed researching this story.
Thank you for telling it to us.
I wasn't, like, I knew she killed people and was ruthless. I didn't expect that many people that she is allegedly responsible for the deaths for. We'll say allegedly, you know? Don't want to accuse her of crime she didn't commit.
Just in case we get sued by her ghost.
Yeah, if her estate gets really upset and like, hey, you can't do this. You can't say these things. But that's it for this week's episode. We are finished. Next week, we're back with Scooby-Doo. And we will be watching Scooby-Doo and the Witch's Ghost.
Oh, I can't wait.
Hannah, you'll be leading us through that movie.
I will be. We finally get to meet the Hex Girls.
We get to meet the Hex Girls. We get to have Tim Curry.
Tim Curry is back.
They are going to put a spell on us. You're right.
Mm-hmm.
Both Tim Curry and the Hex Girls.
Tim Curry, if any human being could put a spell on me, I believe it's Tim Curry.
I would pay him good money to do that.
To put a spell on you?
Yeah.
I don't know if I'd pay for him to put a spell on me.
I guess I should preface this. I pay for a good spell.
Like a nice spell?
Yeah, like you will always have exact change in your pocket or something. I don't know.
How do you want exact change? Just like, what kind of?
I always
spell
have
is
money
that?
then.
I guess that's true. You're right. I didn't think about it that way.
Mm-hmm.
A way less lame spell now that I think about it that way. Yeah, so next week, join us as we talk about Scooby-Doo and the Witch's Ghost, the second of the 4 big Scooby-Doo films that we're all excited to talk about. But that is next week. This week's episode is taken care of. So let's finish up by conducting the business we need to, and then we'll be done. As of recording, we are on Spotify and YouTube. If you're listening to us on YouTube, remember to like, comment, and subscribe. And hit that bell for a notification for when a new episode is uploaded. If you are listening to us on Spotify, remember to follow the show, leave a rating and review, and answer the episode question. Do you think Empress Wu Zhao killed her daughter, specifically her daughter? We know she killed other children. But do you think she killed her daughter? Her infant daughter? Yes or no? We all know what Amanda's answer to the question is. Yeah, thank you for paying attention. It's very nice.
Franklin, tell us what your answer to the question is, because I also answered that question.
I'm on your side, Hannah. The question is, do you think Empress Wu Zhao killed her infant daughter?
Yeah, of course.
I'm on Hannah's side with this. I think that the daughter asphyxiated because of the poor ventilation and the use of coal, and Wu Zhao took advantage of it in a sick and twisted way. But
she fucking killed I don't know how many members of her family, and we can't get over the fact that she can't kill an infant daughter. Really?
I don't think here's the thing. I think she's fully capable of killing an infant daughter. I just don't think she did.
She did. There's no way.
She had her one limit.
Oh, no, I don't think that was a limit for her. I think she would have if the daughter didn't die, but like she didn't have to. Anyway, that's the episode question. You know our thoughts about it.
Mm-hmm.
No matter where you're listening, remember to share the show with anyone you'd like. Friends, family, enemies. Share it with people you think might like some history, some wrestling, some cryptids, some Disney movies, some Scooby-Doo. If you're interested in that at all, or you know someone who is, share this show with them. I'm sure hopefully they'll like it. We like doing it. If you would like to send us an email, you can send us an email to give us your thoughts on the show. Give us some ideas for episodes. or ask us some fan questions. That'd be really fun. You can do any of that in an email sent to
Nothing to see here podcast at gmail.com. As always, here is spelled HEAR.
And if you would like to see some great artwork done by Amanda, some great memes made by Hannah, see any images from things that we've talked about on the show, you can do all of that over on our Instagram page, which is at
Nothing to see here pod.
That is all of the business taken care of. That's the end of this episode. Join us next week for Scooby-Doo and the Witch's Ghost. Saying goodbye and good night. It's Frankie.
It's Hannah.
Alright, I'm gonna go pee. I've had to do
Thank
it
you
this
for that.
entire episode.
Thanks. All right. Goodbye.
Bye.